G'day, welcome to Rod and Paddle Kayak Fishing. Did you know we're on YouTube, Facebook and every now and again Instagram as well, so hope to see you there soon. My name's Bill. If you're just starting out in kayak fishing, you might be wondering to yourself, how do you go about it? Well, the first thing you're going to need is one of these, a kayak. The second thing you're going to need is a paddle. The third thing you're going to need is a PFD. Those are the three things that you're always going to need, and you need to remember that. But how do you go about fishing from a kayak? Well, the first way you can do it is you can use baits. So to do that, you don't need to spend a fortune on your kayak. You can actually use just a paddle kayak. You can use a cheap kayak. All you need is your paddle, your kayak, your PFD, of course, your fishing gear, and some form of anchoring system. And you just take yourself out, find your spot, and soak your baits. What I do, and what most people who stay in the sport do, is they lure fish from a kayak. Now, that's an entirely different thing. There's two ways that you can lure fish from a kayak. One, you can troll a lure along behind you, or the other is that you go hunting. Let's explore those. All right, let's talk about trolling. So trolling, actually, I recommend you watch one of Steve Starling's videos, recent videos, about the difference, or about trolling and trawling. Two totally different things. We're talking about trolling from a kayak. So when you're trolling from a kayak, you are putting one or two lures in the water and you're dragging them through the water. And depending on what you're fishing for, you're going to be going at either a really slow pace, like I am now, the bite is quiet, or you're going to, at best, be going to go at a moderate pace in a estuary system like this, or a freshwater lake or river. And when you're doing it, your rod holder is probably going to come in to use when you have it set up like that, so that you can put your rod in the rod holder, lock it over, and then your hands free, and you're just watching your rod tip for movement. And you can have two of them set up, one on each side. You can troll from behind you, but you are far better off trolling from in front of you because you can see what's going on. Now, I don't troll a lot, but how do I prefer to troll? I prefer to troll by holding the rod like this. So, and often, even though it's a carbon fiber rod that I'm using, I'll put my hand on the finger on the line as if I was bait fishing, and I'm trying to feel for the tiniest of nicks in order to set the hook. It's really important that you're concentrating when you're trolling, otherwise you'll miss a lot of bites. If you're using two rods, you're definitely going to need to use a rod holder. This is how I prefer to do it. I feel like I'm more in touch with what's going on. Now, if you have a paddle kayak, you will need to position your rod holders like that on one or both sides, because you can, with a paddle kayak, sort of lock your rod in underneath like this, in between your two legs, but in all honesty, you're far better off with a rod holder or two rod holders. If you're using a pedal kayak, your choice, hold it or use a rod holder. So we talked about the two different styles of fishing that you can do when you're lure fishing, and one of them I said was hunting. So by that I mean that I'm moving around, I'm using my eyes and my ears. Oh, that was a bite. That's exactly what I mean. I'm using my eyes and ears to try and locate the fish. I'm using a sounder. I've got a sounder on the boat here with me. But I'm not just mindlessly pedaling or paddling around. I'm actually going to specific areas and looking for drop-offs, looking for weed patches, looking for structure. And that's what I mean when I say it's hunting. You're actually trying to find the fish, but more importantly, you're trying to find active fish. And that's what kayaks are really good at, because they are so bloody stealthy. If you're fly fishing or just lure fishing with a spin rod or a bait caster, they are ideal. It's the sounder telling me I'm in shallow water, which I already knew. So as a lure fisho, oh, I've caught something. Look at that. That's amazing. As a lure fisho, these things are absolutely fantastic if you are hunting fish. So you're seeking the fish out. And that is probably the biggest benefit of kayak fishing, is trying to find, as I said, the active fish and trying to figure out how to get them to bite. When you're doing that, you need to make sure you set your kayak up to be able to do that to the best of your ability. And one of the things that I do is I always make sure, I'll just focus the camera for you, I always make sure I have a rod holder sitting like that, so that when I'm changing lures or unhooking a fish, I can sit my rod in the rod holder. It makes it so much easier and so much better. So this is what I'm talking about. I've come over here and you can't see it. I'll show you in a minute. But there's a downed tree in the water. The water's really clear. I can see 2 meters down. But what I did see was some bream in and around this tree. Now they've been very skittish and they've run off. But this is what I'm talking about when I say hunting. And I've cast into the deeper water where they've run off to see if I can get them interested. And it's just going to be a case of trying different things. I'll give you a look at what I'm talking about. You should be able to see what I'm referring to there. And even though I made zero noise approaching, they still knew that something wasn't normal for them. So they, sorry, I'll just realign the camera. So they skedaddled before I got here. But it's very skittish. The fish are very skittish today. I think Jason up there is managed to catch a tree fish, by the looks of it, up on the bank. He's probably panicking. He's borrowed my Zodius, and I read him the riot act Told him that if he dropped that in the water, he was dropping about $750, $800 worth of rod, reel, and line. The eerie thing is at the moment is that I can't hear any birds. There's a bird over there looking for fish. He's just seen me and he's taken off. He's a good 100 metres away. That's odd. Normally this place is full of bird life. I haven't seen any kangaroos. There's normally lots of kangaroos around. And apart from some fish that I saw in a snag, some bream that spooked really quickly, I haven't seen anything else. And now I have a sound of a plane in the distance interrupting the serenity. But how lucky are we that we can still go fishing in places like this, or just paddling around? Such a beautiful place, this. But you might notice that you can't hear any birds. It's like there's nothing happening here today. All right. I think we've covered off on that. I've got plenty of other videos that describe and show this and exactly how it works. If you've got any questions or you want to know anything more, feel free to shoot me a comment. Please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. As I said, I'm on Facebook as well. You can shoot us messages there or comments. If there's anything you want to know or any way I can help you, just let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you next time.